Hello there, and welcome to the Sleepy Library. It's lovely to have you here tonight. Before we begin our journey into the world of sleep, I'd love to know where in the world you're listening from. A cozy bedroom with soft pillows, a quiet living room with dim lights, a peaceful corner where the world feels far away. Wherever you are, I hope you're comfortable, warm, and ready to let your mind gently wander through the fascinating things that happen when we close our eyes and rest. If you enjoy these quiet explorations of science and would like to hear more, a like and subscribe really helps this sleepy little channel continue. And to those already subscribed, thank you. Your support means the world. Now, I'll try not to make tonight's topic so interesting that it keeps you awake. But if it does, at least you'll understand exactly what your brain is trying to do while you're lying there. A small price to pay for a restless night, perhaps. Tonight, we're going to explore one of the most mysterious and essential things your body does every single day. Something you'll spend about 1/3 of your entire life doing. Something that feels like nothing is happening, when in reality, your brain and body are incredibly, beautifully busy. We're going to discover what really happens when you sleep. Sleep is something every animal does. Birds sleep. Fish sleep. Even insects need their rest. Humans have been sleeping since the very beginning of our species, yet for most of history, we had no idea why. People used to think sleep was simply a time when the body shut down, like turning off a machine at the end of the day. The brain went quiet, the body rested, and that was that. Simple. Peaceful. Completely wrong. It wasn't until scientists developed special tools to measure brain activity that they realized something astonishing. During sleep, your brain doesn't shut down at all. In fact, in some ways, it becomes even more active than when you're awake. Your brain is working hard, doing important jobs that can only happen when you're asleep. It's like a busy nighttime crew that comes in after the day shift leaves, cleaning, organizing, and preparing everything for tomorrow. Scientists first began to understand sleep in the early 1950s. Before that time, researchers had no way to see what was happening inside the sleeping brain. They could observe people sleeping, noting when they moved or changed position, measuring their breathing and heart rate, but the brain itself remained mysterious. Then came the invention of a remarkable tool called the electroencephalogram, or EEG for short. This device uses small sensors placed on the scalp to detect electrical activity in the brain. These electrical signals create patterns called brain waves, and by studying these brain waves, scientists discovered that sleep was far more complex than anyone had imagined. The discovery that changed everything happened when researchers noticed that sleeping people's eyes sometimes moved rapidly beneath their closed eyelids. When they looked at the brain waves during these periods of eye movement, they found something shocking. The brain waves looked almost identical to the brain waves of someone who was wide awake. This discovery revealed that sleep wasn't one uniform state, but rather a complex journey through different types of rest and activity. It was as if scientists had discovered that what looked like a simple quiet night was actually a busy city with different neighborhoods, each with its own character and purpose. When you sleep, your brain moves through different stages, like traveling through different rooms in a large house. Each room has its own purpose, its own feeling, its own special job to do. Scientists can identify these stages by looking at the patterns of electrical activity in the brain. These patterns create waves, and by studying these brain waves, researchers learned that sleep is a carefully orchestrated process that repeats in cycles throughout the night. When you first close your eyes and begin to fall asleep, your body starts a journey. This journey happens in cycles, repeating several times throughout the night. Each cycle lasts about 90 minutes to 2 hours, and during a typical night of sleep, you'll go through 4 to 6 of these cycles. It's like riding a gentle wave that rises and falls, carrying you deeper into sleep and then back up toward wakefulness over and over again. Your body knows exactly how to navigate this journey. You don't have to think about it or control it. Your brain has an internal program refined over millions of years of evolution that guides you through each stage at precisely the right time. Sleep is divided into 2 main types. The first type is called NREM sleep, which stands for non-rapid eye movement sleep. The second type is called REM sleep, which stands for rapid eye movement sleep. These 2 types are as different from each other as night and day, even though they're both part of the same peaceful experience we call sleep. Understanding these 2 types and how they work together is key to understanding what sleep really does for you. NREM sleep has 3 stages. Stage 1 is the lightest, Stage 2 is a bit deeper, and Stage 3 is the deepest sleep of all. REM sleep is where most of your dreams happen, and your brain becomes almost as active as when you're wide awake. Each of these stages has its own special characteristics, its own purpose, its own way of helping your body and mind recover from the day and prepare for tomorrow. Stage 1 is the very beginning of sleep, the gentle transition from being awake to being asleep. This stage usually lasts only a few minutes, somewhere between 1 and 7 minutes for most people. It's that drowsy, floaty feeling when you're not quite awake, but not quite asleep either. Your thoughts start to wander. Maybe you see little flashes of images that don't quite make sense. Brief scenes that appear and disappear like clouds passing across the sky. Your body begins to relax, though you might experience sudden little jerks or twitches as your muscles let go of the day's tension. These muscle jerks are called hypnic jerks or sleep starts, and they're completely normal. Almost everyone experiences them occasionally. Scientists aren't entirely sure why they happen, but one theory suggests they're a leftover response from our evolutionary past, when sleeping in trees required constant awareness of not falling. During Stage 1, your brain waves change in fascinating ways. When you're awake and alert, your brain produces fast, small waves called beta waves. These waves have a frequency of about 15 to 30 cycles per second, and they reflect the busy, active processing your brain does when you're concentrating or engaging with the world. When you're relaxed with your eyes closed but still awake, these shift to slightly slower waves called alpha waves. Alpha waves cycle at about 8 to 13 times per second, and they're associated with peaceful wakefulness, the kind of calm alertness you might feel while meditating or sitting quietly. But as you enter Stage 1 sleep, your brain begins producing even slower waves called theta waves. These theta waves are gentle and rolling, like small waves lapping at a peaceful shore. They cycle at about 4 to 7 times per second, much slower than the rapid beta waves of active thinking. The appearance of theta waves signals that your conscious mind is beginning to let go, that you're moving from wakefulness into the realm of sleep. It's a beautiful transition, visible on the EEG recordings as the waves gradually slow down and become more rhythmic. Your heartbeat slows down during stage 1. While awake, your heart might beat 70 or 80 times per minute. As you enter stage 1 sleep, this rate begins to drop, becoming steadier and more regular. Your breathing becomes more even too, losing the irregular pattern it has when you're awake and talking or thinking. Your body temperature starts to drop just slightly, perhaps half a degree, preparing for deeper rest. This temperature drop is one of the reasons why a cool bedroom helps you sleep better. Your body wants to lower its temperature for sleep, and a cool environment makes this easier. It's easy to wake someone from stage 1 sleep. A small noise, a light touch, or even a thought can bring you right back to wakefulness. This is why stage 1 is sometimes called light sleep or the transition stage. You're not deeply committed to sleep yet. You're just testing the waters, beginning the journey. If something important happens, your brain can quickly bring you back to full awareness. This makes sense from an evolutionary perspective. In the early stages of sleep, when you haven't yet descended into deeper rest, it's safer to remain somewhat alert to potential dangers in your environment. If you've ever been sitting in a chair and felt yourself starting to nod off, only to jerk awake suddenly, you've experienced stage 1 sleep. Your brain was beginning its journey into rest, but something pulled you back before you could travel any further. This is completely normal and happens to everyone. Sometimes it happens because of an external noise or movement. Other times, it happens because your sleeping brain produces a random image or thought that startles you awake. These brief dips into stage 1 sleep can happen many times during a boring lecture or a long car ride. Your brain repeatedly trying to initiate sleep and being pulled back to wakefulness. After a few minutes in stage 1, your body moves naturally into stage 2 sleep. This stage makes up about 45% of your total sleep time, which means it's the stage you spend the most time in throughout the night. If you sleep 8 hours, you'll spend roughly 3.5 to 4 hours in stage 2 sleep. Stage 2 is where your body really begins to settle into rest. You're definitely asleep now, though not as deeply as you'll be in stage 3. If someone tried to wake you from stage 2 sleep, they could do it, but it would take more than a whisper or a gentle touch. They'd need to speak louder or shake you more firmly. During stage 2, your brain continues to produce theta waves, but something special begins to happen. Your brain creates sudden bursts of rapid brain activity called sleep spindles. These sleep spindles are quick little flashes of brain activity that appear on the brainwave recordings as tight groups of fast waves, usually lasting 1 or 2 seconds. They happen spontaneously throughout stage 2 sleep, appearing every few minutes like little fireworks in your sleeping brain. Scientists believe these sleep spindles are very important for learning and memory. They seem to represent moments when your brain is actively working to transfer information from temporary storage to more permanent storage, consolidating the experiences of your day into lasting memories. Sleep spindles might also be your brain's way of protecting your sleep from noises and disturbances. When researchers studied people sleeping in noisy environments, they found that people who produced more sleep spindles were less likely to wake up from sounds. It's as if the sleep spindles help your brain filter out unimportant noises, deciding what deserves attention and what can be safely ignored. This protective function makes sense. Sleep is vulnerable time, but it's also essential time. Your brain needs to balance staying safe with getting adequate rest, and sleep spindles might be part of how it accomplishes this delicate balance. Stage 2 also includes something called K complexes. These are sharp, sudden spikes of brain activity that look like big waves on the recordings. K complexes are even larger and more dramatic than sleep spindles, standing out prominently on EEG traces. They can occur spontaneously, or they can be triggered by sounds or other stimuli in your environment. When a sound occurs during stage 2 sleep, your brain often produces a K complex in response. Scientists believe K complexes might help your brain respond to things happening around you while you sleep, deciding whether something is important enough to wake you up, or if it can be safely ignored. They're like your brain's security guard, constantly monitoring the environment and making quick decisions about what requires your attention. Your body temperature continues to drop during stage 2. Your heart rate becomes even slower and more steady, settling into a calm, regular rhythm. Your muscles relax more deeply, releasing tension you might not have even known you were holding. Your breathing settles into a calm, regular pattern, steady and even, like gentle waves on a quiet sea. Your blood pressure decreases, giving your cardiovascular system a rest. Even your digestion slows down as your body shifts its energy and resources toward rest and repair rather than processing food. You spend more time in stage 2 during the later cycles of the night. As the night progresses, your body seems to prefer staying in this comfortable middle stage of sleep, where you're deeply rested but not in the very deepest sleep. This pattern makes sense when you consider that deep sleep is primarily needed for physical restoration, which happens mostly in the first half of the night. As your body becomes more restored, it can afford to spend more time in the lighter but still restful stage 2 sleep. Scientists believe this pattern helps your body and brain balance rest with readiness, keeping you safe while allowing maximum recovery. Stage 3 is the deepest stage of NREM sleep, and it's where some of the most important work of sleep happens. This stage used to be divided into 2 separate stages called Stage 3 and Stage 4, but scientists now recognize them as one continuous stage of deep sleep. The distinction between the old Stage 3 and Stage 4 was based on the percentage of delta waves present. But researchers realized this was an arbitrary division. Deep sleep is deep sleep, regardless of whether the EEG shows 60% or 80% delta waves. This stage is also called slow wave sleep because of the type of brain waves that appear during this time. And it's during slow wave sleep that your body does much of its physical restoration and repair. During Stage 3, your brain produces very slow, very large waves called delta waves. These delta waves are like long, rolling ocean swells, moving slowly across the vast expanse of your brain. They cycle at only 1 to 4 times per second, which is incredibly slow compared to the rapid beta waves of waking consciousness. The waves are also much larger in amplitude than other brain waves, representing a massive synchronization of electrical activity across your brain. It's as if all the individual neurons that were chattering independently during wakefulness have now joined together in a slow, coordinated rhythm, like thousands of people clapping in perfect unison. Stage 3 sleep happens mostly during the first half of the night. In your first sleep cycle, you might spend 20 to 40 minutes in deep sleep. As the night goes on, you spend less time in Stage 3 and more time in Stage 2 and REM sleep. By the end of the night, you might not enter Stage 3 at all. Your body front-loads deep sleep, getting the deepest rest early when you need it most. This makes sense from a biological perspective. The deepest physical restoration needs to happen first, when your body is most tired from the day's activities. It's very hard to wake someone from Stage 3 sleep. If someone does wake you during deep sleep, you'll feel confused and foggy for several minutes. This grogginess is called sleep inertia, and it can last up to half an hour. Your brain needs time to transition back to wakefulness after being in such deep rest. During sleep inertia, you might feel disoriented, have trouble speaking clearly, or struggle to understand what's being said to you. Your reaction time is slow, your coordination is poor, and you feel deeply uncomfortable, pulled from rest before you were ready. This is why it's best not to wake people from deep sleep unless absolutely necessary. During deep sleep, amazing things happen in your body. Your body releases growth hormone, which helps repair tissues and build muscle. This is why athletes and children who need lots of physical growth and repair require more deep sleep than average. Your immune system becomes more active during deep sleep, working to fight off germs and keep you healthy. Studies have shown that people who don't get enough deep sleep are more likely to get sick when exposed to viruses. Your breathing slows to its most relaxed pace. Your blood pressure drops to its lowest point of the night, giving your heart and blood vessels a much-needed rest. Your muscles become completely relaxed, more relaxed than at any other time, even more relaxed than when you're awake and deliberately trying to relax. Even your brain does some housekeeping during deep sleep, clearing away waste products that built up during the day. This waste removal process, which we'll talk more about in a moment, is one of the most important functions of deep sleep. All of this happens while you're completely unaware, lost in the deepest, most restorative sleep. Your conscious mind is far away, and your body takes full advantage of this absence to do its essential maintenance work. People who don't get enough stage 3 sleep often feel tired the next day, even if they slept for a long time. This stage is essential for feeling truly rested and refreshed. It's the kind of sleep that makes you wake up feeling like your body has been renewed. Without enough deep sleep, you might feel like you never really rested at all. You might feel physically weak, mentally foggy, and emotionally fragile. This is because your body didn't get the deep restoration it needed. The importance of deep sleep cannot be overstated. It's during these slow-wave periods that your body truly recovers from the physical demands of being awake. After traveling through the 3 stages of NREM sleep, something remarkable happens. Your brain doesn't continue getting quieter and sleepier. Instead, it becomes active again, almost as active as when you're wide awake. You've entered REM sleep, and this is where the magic of dreaming happens. The transition from deep sleep to REM sleep is one of the most dramatic shifts that occurs during your night of rest. REM sleep is called rapid eye movement sleep because during this stage, your eyes move quickly back and forth under your closed eyelids. It's as if you're watching something, though your eyes are closed and you're deeply asleep. Scientists discovered this phenomenon in the early 1950s, and it completely changed how we understand sleep. Before this discovery, people thought sleep was a uniform state of rest. The discovery of REM sleep revealed that sleep is far more complex and varied, that the sleeping brain goes through radically different states throughout the night. During REM sleep, your brain waves look almost identical to the brain waves you have when you're awake. The fast, irregular patterns of waking consciousness return, even though you're completely unconscious. Your brain is highly active, processing information, creating experiences, weaving together the strange and vivid stories we call dreams. Your heart rate increases and becomes irregular, sometimes speeding up and slowing down, as if responding to the events in your dreams. Your breathing becomes faster and more uneven, sometimes shallow and rapid, sometimes deeper. Your blood pressure rises. In many ways, your body acts as if you're awake and active, even though you're completely asleep. But here's something fascinating, something that seems almost contradictory. During REM sleep, your voluntary muscles become temporarily paralyzed. This paralysis affects all the muscles you normally control, except the muscles that help you breathe and the muscles that move your eyes. Your arms, your legs, your torso, even your face, all become temporarily unable to move. This paralysis is actually a protective mechanism, and it's absolutely essential for safe sleep. It keeps you from acting out your dreams. Imagine if you could move during your vivid dreams. If you dreamed you were running, you might actually try to run while lying in bed. If you dreamed you were fighting something, you might thrash around and hurt yourself or anyone sleeping nearby. This temporary paralysis keeps you safe while your mind wanders through dreamscapes. Sometimes this paralysis system doesn't work perfectly. Some people experience a condition called REM sleep behavior disorder, where the paralysis doesn't occur properly. These people actually do act out their dreams, sometimes violently, and they can hurt themselves or their sleeping partners. This condition shows us just how important the paralysis mechanism is. On the other side, some people wake up while the paralysis is still active, experiencing what's called sleep paralysis. They're conscious, but temporarily unable to move, which can be frightening until they fully wake up and the paralysis fades. These conditions highlight the delicate balance the brain maintains between activity and paralysis during REM sleep. Your first REM period of the night is usually short, lasting only about 10 minutes. It often comes after your first cycle through the NREM stages, roughly 90 minutes after you first fell asleep. But as the night goes on, your REM periods get longer and longer. Your second REM period might last 15 or 20 minutes. Your third might last 30 minutes. By the end of the night, you might spend up to an hour in REM sleep during a single cycle. Overall, REM sleep makes up about 25% of your total sleep time in adults, which means if you sleep 8 hours, you'll spend about 2 hours in REM sleep, though it's distributed across multiple periods throughout the night. Babies and young children need much more REM sleep than adults. Newborn babies spend about half their sleep time in REM sleep, sometimes even more. Scientists believe this high amount of REM sleep is important for brain development. The brain of a baby is growing and forming connections at an incredible rate, and REM sleep seems to support this rapid development. As children grow and their brains mature, the amount of REM sleep gradually decreases, settling into the adult pattern of about 25% by adolescence. REM sleep seems to be important for learning and memory, especially for certain types of learning. Some scientists believe REM sleep helps you process and integrate your experiences, connecting new information with things you already know. It might be especially important for emotional memories, for processing and making sense of feelings and experiences. Others think it helps with creative thinking and problem solving, allowing your brain to make unexpected connections and see things in new ways. The exact purpose of REM sleep and dreaming is still something scientists are studying and debating, but everyone agrees it's essential for healthy brain function. Dreams during REM sleep tend to be vivid, story-like, and often bizarre. You might find yourself in impossible situations, talking to people who aren't there, experiencing things that couldn't happen in real life. The logic of dreams is different from waking logic. Things that would seem impossible or nonsensical when you're awake feel perfectly natural in dreams. Some researchers believe this is because the logical, reality-checking parts of your brain are less active during REM sleep, allowing your mind to create and experience things without the usual constraints of physical reality. Interestingly, you can dream during other stages of sleep too, not just REM. But dreams during NREM sleep tend to be different. They're usually less vivid, more thought-like, more fragmented. They might feel more like mulling over your day rather than experiencing a new adventure. The wildest, most memorable dreams almost always come from REM sleep. These are the dreams you wake up from and think about for hours, the ones that sometimes stay with you for days. The ones that feel so real in the moment that you're surprised when you wake up and find yourself in your own bed. Now that we understand the different stages of sleep, it's important to know how they work together throughout the night. Remember, sleep doesn't just happen in a straight line from light to deep and back to light. Instead, it moves in cycles, like a repeating pattern or a gentle dance that your body knows by heart. This cycling pattern is one of the most elegant aspects of sleep, a carefully orchestrated sequence that repeats throughout the night. When you first fall asleep, you enter stage 1. Within a few minutes, you move to stage 2. Then, after 10 or 20 minutes in stage 2, you descend into the deep rest of stage 3. You might stay in deep sleep for 20 or 30 minutes during your first cycle. Then, instead of waking up, your brain travels back through stage 2 briefly before entering REM sleep. After your first REM period, the cycle starts over. Stage 1, Stage 2, Stage 3, Stage 2, REM. Over and over again, all night long. Your brain knows this pattern intimately, having repeated it every night of your life. But here's what makes it interesting. The cycles aren't all the same. Your first cycle includes lots of deep stage 3 sleep and only a short REM period. As the night goes on, you spend less time in deep sleep and more time in REM sleep. By your last few cycles before waking, you might skip deep sleep entirely, cycling between stage 2 and increasingly long REM periods. It's as if your body knows exactly what it needs at different times of night. Early on, physical restoration is the priority. Later, once your body is more refreshed, mental and emotional processing becomes the focus. This pattern makes sense when you think about what each stage does. Early in the night, when you're most tired from your day, your body prioritizes deep physical rest and restoration. Your muscles need to repair, your immune system needs to work, your tissues need to rebuild. Later, when your body is more refreshed, your brain spends more time in REM sleep, processing memories and dreams, consolidating learning, regulating emotions. Your body has its own wisdom about how to distribute its time across the stages of sleep, a wisdom developed over millions of years of evolution. Interestingly, this pattern of sleep cycles exists in almost all mammals. Dogs cycle through sleep stages. Cats do too. If you've ever watched a cat sleeping, you might have noticed its whiskers twitching or its paws moving slightly. That's probably REM sleep, and the cat is likely dreaming. Even dolphins, who sleep with half their brain at a time so they can keep swimming and breathing, cycle through similar stages. The architecture of sleep is something ancient and universal, a pattern nature has used for millions of years across countless species. This universality suggests that the cycling pattern of sleep is not arbitrary, but deeply important for survival and health. One of the most important things that happens during sleep is something called memory consolidation. During your waking hours, your brain is constantly taking in new information. You see things, hear things, learn things, experience things. Every conversation you have, every sight you see, every thought you think, all of this creates temporary patterns of activity in your brain. All of this information gets temporarily stored in a part of your brain called the hippocampus. Think of the hippocampus as a temporary storage area, like a basket where you toss all the papers and notes from your day. But the hippocampus can't hold everything forever. It's too small, and new experiences are always coming in. If your brain kept every single experience in the hippocampus, it would overflow. You'd run out of room for new experiences. So during sleep, particularly during deep sleep and REM sleep, your brain does something remarkable. It replays the important experiences from your day. The same patterns of brain activity that happened when you first learned something get activated again during sleep. It's like your brain is practicing and reviewing, strengthening the memories that matter while letting the unimportant ones fade away. During this replay process, memories get transferred from the hippocampus to other parts of your brain, particularly the outer layer called the neocortex. The neocortex is much larger and can store memories for a very long time, even your whole life. This transfer process is what scientists call consolidation. It's how short-term memories become long-term memories, how temporary impressions become lasting knowledge. It's how you remember important events from years ago while forgetting what you had for lunch 3 days ago. Different types of memories seem to be processed during different stages of sleep. Deep sleep, with its slow delta waves, appears to be especially important for consolidating facts and events, the things you consciously remember and can talk about. If you spend the day learning new information, like studying for a test or learning someone's name, deep sleep helps lock that information into your long-term memory. REM sleep seems more important for consolidating skills and procedures, the things you know how to do without thinking about it, like riding a bicycle or playing a musical instrument. If you spend the day practicing a physical skill, REM sleep helps your brain refine and perfect the movements. Research has shown that people who sleep after learning something new remember it better than people who stay awake. In experiments, participants who studied and then got a good night's sleep performed better on tests than participants who stayed up all night studying. The difference can be quite dramatic. Sleep helps not just a little bit, but significantly. Students who study and then get a good night's sleep might remember 20 or 30% more information than students who stay up all night. The brain needs sleep to properly store and organize information. Without sleep, memories remain weak and fragile, easy to forget and hard to recall. Sleep also does something else interesting with memories. It doesn't just strengthen them, it also helps organize them, connecting new memories with old ones, finding patterns, making associations. Your brain is incredibly good at finding connections, and sleep gives it time to do this work without the interference of new incoming information. Sometimes when you wake up, you suddenly understand something that confused you the day before, or you have a creative insight about a problem you were working on. This happens because your sleeping brain was quietly working on it all night, making connections you couldn't see while you were awake. There's even evidence that your dreams might reflect this memory processing. People often dream about things they experience during the day, though usually in strange, distorted ways. A conversation you had might appear in a dream, but the person might look different, or the setting might be somewhere you've never been, or the words might come out all wrong. These dreams might be a window into the consolidation process, a glimpse of your brain sorting through experiences and deciding what's important enough to keep. Your sleeping brain is like a librarian, carefully organizing all the books of your experience, deciding which ones go on the permanent shelves and which ones can be recycled. The library never closes. Even while you sleep, especially while you sleep, the work of organizing continues. Here's something scientists only discovered relatively recently, in 2012. During sleep, your brain has a special cleaning system that washes away waste products that build up during the day. This system is called the glymphatic system, a clever name that combines the words glial and lymphatic. Glial cells are support cells in your brain, cells that don't transmit electrical signals like neurons do, but instead help neurons function properly. The lymphatic system is the network of vessels that removes waste from the rest of your body. The glymphatic system is like the brain's version of this waste removal network. The glymphatic system works like this. Your brain is surrounded by a clear fluid called cerebrospinal fluid. This fluid cushions your brain, protects it from impact, and provides nutrients. Sleep. This fluid flows through tiny spaces in your brain tissue, washing away metabolic waste products. Think of it like a gentle stream flowing through a forest, carrying away fallen leaves and debris. The waste products get swept away and eventually drain out of your brain, where they can be removed from your body through normal waste elimination processes. What's remarkable is that this cleaning system is much more active during sleep than during wakefulness. When you're awake, the spaces between your brain cells are relatively small, only about 14% of your brain's volume. But during sleep, especially during deep sleep, these spaces expand by about 60%, growing to about 23% of your brain's volume. This expansion allows the cerebrospinal fluid to flow more easily and efficiently through your brain tissue. It's like widening the channels of a stream so more water can flow through. The fluid can reach more areas, clear more waste, do a more thorough cleaning job. The glymphatic system removes many different types of waste, including the byproducts of normal brain activity. Every time your neurons fire, every time you think a thought or experience a sensation, your brain cells produce waste products. These accumulate throughout the day. But scientists are particularly interested in two specific proteins that the glymphatic system removes: beta amyloid and tau. These proteins can form clumps in the brain, and these clumps are strongly associated with Alzheimer's disease and other forms of dementia. During sleep, the glymphatic system helps clear these proteins away before they can build up to harmful levels. This might be one reason why people who consistently get poor sleep have a higher risk of developing dementia later in life. Their brains aren't getting cleaned properly, night after night, year after year, allowing harmful waste to accumulate over time. It's like not taking out the trash regularly. Eventually, things pile up and create problems. Studies have shown that even one night of sleep deprivation can increase the levels of beta amyloid in the brain. While one night doesn't cause permanent harm, chronic sleep deprivation over years or decades might contribute to the buildup that eventually leads to cognitive decline. The glymphatic system is controlled in part by a chemical in your brain called norepinephrine. When you're awake, norepinephrine levels are high, and this keeps your brain alert and the glymphatic system relatively quiet. Norepinephrine is one of the chemicals that makes you feel awake and energized. It's part of your brain's arousal system. But when you sleep, norepinephrine levels drop significantly, which allows the glymphatic vessels to relax and the cleaning process to begin. It's beautifully coordinated. Your brain can't be actively processing the world and cleaning itself at the same time, so it has to wait for sleep to do its housekeeping. This discovery has changed how scientists think about sleep. It's not just about rest or memory or dreams. Sleep is also about maintenance, about keeping your brain clean and healthy. Just like you need to regularly clean your house to keep it pleasant and functional, your brain needs regular sleep to stay clean and work properly. Without adequate sleep, waste builds up, and this can lead to all sorts of problems with how your brain functions. It might explain why people who don't sleep well often feel foggy-headed or have trouble thinking clearly. Their brains are literally not as clean as they should be. Now let's talk about what makes you feel sleepy in the first place and why sleep happens at particular times. Your body has an internal clock, a natural rhythm that cycles approximately every 24 hours. This rhythm is called your circadian rhythm, from Latin words meaning about a day. Your circadian rhythm affects almost everything in your body, from when you feel hungry to when your body temperature rises and falls, from when you feel most alert to when certain hormones are released. But its most noticeable effect is on your sleep-wake cycle. The master clock controlling your circadian rhythm is located in a tiny region of your brain called the suprachiasmatic nucleus, or SCN for short. This cluster of about 20,000 nerve cells sits just above where your optic nerves cross in your brain, which is perfect because the SCN needs information about light to do its job. Special cells in your eyes, cells that are different from the ones you use to see shapes and colors, detect light and send signals to the SCN, telling it whether it's day or night. These special cells are sensitive to blue light in particular, which is why bright daylight and blue sky are such powerful signals for wakefulness. The SCN then coordinates all the other clocks in your body, because yes, you have multiple biological clocks. Almost every organ in your body, from your liver to your heart to your intestines, has its own internal clock. These secondary clocks control local processes, timing things like when your digestive system is most active or when your liver does certain types of processing. But all of these secondary clocks are synchronized with the SCN, the master clock. The SCN is like a conductor, keeping all the different instruments playing together in harmony. When light enters your eyes in the morning, the SCN receives this information and sends signals throughout your body saying it's time to be awake. Your body temperature starts to rise. You're coldest just before you wake up, and your temperature increases through the morning and into the afternoon. The production of a hormone called melatonin stops. Melatonin is only produced in darkness, and light shuts down its production quickly. Another hormone called cortisol increases, helping you feel alert and ready for the day. Cortisol gets a bad reputation because high levels are associated with stress, but normal morning cortisol is actually helpful and healthy. It's part of your body's natural wake-up system. Your blood pressure increases slightly. Your digestive system becomes more active, preparing to process food. All of these changes work together to make you feel awake and energized. As evening approaches and light begins to fade, the opposite happens. The SCN detects the decreasing light and starts preparing your body for sleep. Your pineal gland, a small structure deep in your brain about the size of a grain of rice, begins producing melatonin. Melatonin is sometimes called the hormone of darkness because it's only produced when light levels are low. As melatonin levels rise in your blood, you start to feel sleepy. Your body temperature begins to drop. Your blood pressure decreases. Your digestion slows down. All of these changes are your body's way of getting ready for sleep, of shifting from daytime activities to nighttime rest. Melatonin doesn't make you fall asleep instantly, and it's not the only thing controlling sleep. It's better to think of melatonin as a signal that darkness has arrived, a cue that tells your body it's time to prepare for sleep. It helps create the conditions for sleep. It makes you feel drowsy and ready to rest. Your highest melatonin levels occur in the middle of the night, around 3 or 4 in the morning, when you're in your deepest sleep. Then, as dawn approaches, melatonin production decreases, preparing you to wake up. The rise and fall of melatonin across the 24-hour day is one of the most reliable and consistent rhythms in your body. Your circadian rhythm is incredibly consistent, but it's not exactly 24 hours. For most people, the natural cycle is slightly longer, about 24 hours and 10 or 15 minutes. Some people's rhythms are a bit shorter, some a bit longer, but almost everyone's natural rhythm is slightly different from exactly 24 hours. This means, without any external cues, your body would slowly shift later and later each day. If you lived in complete darkness with no clocks or time cues, you'd probably go to bed about 15 minutes later each day, gradually cycling around the clock. But because you're exposed to light every morning, your internal clock resets itself each day, keeping you synchronized with the actual 24-hour day. This daily resetting is called entrainment. Light is the most powerful signal for entraining your circadian rhythm, which is why getting bright light exposure in the morning and avoiding bright light at night is so important for good sleep. Morning light tells your brain that this is the beginning of the day, that it's time to be awake now. Evening darkness tells your brain that the day is ending, that it should prepare for sleep. These signals help keep your internal clock aligned with the external world. Other things can also affect your circadian rhythm. Meal times, for example, can act as time cues for your body. Regular exercise can help strengthen your circadian rhythm. Even social activities and regular schedules help. But light is by far the most powerful influence. This is why crossing time zones throws off your sleep so dramatically. Your internal clock is still set to the time in your home location, but the light-dark cycle in your new location is telling your brain something completely different. It takes several days for your internal clock to adjust to the new time zone, which is why jet lag feels so disruptive. The amount and type of sleep we need changes dramatically as we age. Newborn babies sleep about 16 to 18 hours a day, though not all at once. They sleep in short bursts throughout the day and night, cycling between wakefulness and sleep roughly every 3 to 4 hours. This is because newborns have very small stomachs and need to eat frequently, and also because their circadian rhythms aren't fully developed yet. They don't yet have a clear day-night pattern. Newborn sleep is also organized differently from adult sleep. They have active sleep, which is similar to REM sleep, and quiet sleep, which is similar to NREM sleep. But these stages aren't fully developed yet. They're more primitive versions of the sleep stages that will develop as the baby grows. As babies grow into infants, their sleep begins to consolidate. By about 3 months, most babies are sleeping more at night and less during the day. Their circadian rhythms are starting to develop, responding to light and establishing a clear day-night pattern. By 6 months, many babies can sleep for a 6-hour stretch at night, though plenty of babies take longer to reach this milestone. Every baby develops differently, and sleep patterns can vary widely. During infancy, babies need about 14 to 15 hours of sleep each day, including naps. A 6-month-old might sleep 11 hours at night and take 2 or 3 naps during the day. Toddlers and preschool children need 11 to 13 hours of sleep per day. They still need naps, though the number of naps decreases from 2 to 1 as they get older. Most children give up their last nap sometime between ages 3 and 5, though some continue napping longer. The transition away from naps can be challenging. Children at this age need lots of sleep for their rapid physical and cognitive development. They're growing quickly, learning constantly, and their brains are forming millions of new connections every day. All of this requires lots of quality sleep. School-age children need about 9 to 11 hours of sleep each night. Unfortunately, many children don't get this much sleep, especially as they get older, and homework, activities, and screen time cut into sleep hours. Early school start times can also make it difficult for children to get enough sleep. A child who needs to wake up at 6:30 for school needs to be asleep by 8:30 or 9 at the latest. But many children are staying up much later than this. The consequences of inadequate sleep in children include difficulty paying attention in school, behavioral problems, mood issues, and even effects on physical health and growth. Teenagers need about 8 to 10 hours of sleep per night, but during adolescence, something interesting happens. The circadian rhythm naturally shifts later. This shift is biological, driven by changes in hormone levels during puberty. Teenagers produce melatonin later in the evening than children or adults do. While a younger child might start feeling sleepy at 8 or 9 in the evening, a teenager's body doesn't start producing melatonin until 10 or 11 at night. This isn't laziness or choice, it's biology. A teenager's body naturally wants to stay up until 11 at night and sleep until 8 or 9 in the morning. This biological shift conflicts with early school start times, which is why so many teenagers are chronically sleep deprived. A teenager who has to wake up at 6 in the morning but doesn't fall asleep until 11:30 or midnight is only getting 6 or 6.5 hours of sleep, far less than the 8 to 10 hours they need. This chronic sleep deprivation during adolescence can have serious consequences, affecting academic performance, mood, risk-taking behavior, and even long-term health. Some schools have experimented with later start times for teenagers, and the results have been positive, with improved academic performance and better mental health. Adults need 7 to 9 hours of sleep per night, though there's individual variation. Some people function well on 7 hours, while others really need a full 9 hours to feel their best. Very few people can function optimally on less than 7 hours, though many people believe they can. Studies show that people who consistently sleep less than 7 hours have higher rates of heart disease, diabetes, obesity, depression, and many other health problems. The need for sleep doesn't decrease with age, but the ability to get good sleep often does. Older adults frequently experience lighter sleep, more nighttime awakenings, and a shift back to earlier bedtimes and wake times. An older person might feel sleepy at 8 in the evening and wake up at 5 in the morning. This is a natural shift in circadian rhythm that occurs with aging. It's the opposite of what happens during adolescence. While teenagers shift later, older adults shift earlier. Older adults also tend to have more fragmented sleep, waking up more often during the night. Part of this is due to changes in the brain's sleep-wake systems. Part of it is due to medical conditions and medications that become more common with age. The amount of time spent in each sleep stage also changes with age. Newborns spend about half their sleep time in REM sleep, which might be important for brain development. All that REM sleep in infancy is thought to support the rapid brain growth and neural connection formation that happens during the first years of life. By adulthood, REM sleep makes up only about 25% of sleep. Deep stage 3 sleep also decreases significantly with age. Young adults might spend 2 hours in deep sleep each night, while older adults might get only 30 minutes or less. This is one reason why older people often feel their sleep isn't as restorative as it used to be. They're not getting as much of the deep, slow-wave sleep that provides the most physical restoration. Understanding what happens during sleep helps us understand why sleep deprivation is so harmful. When you don't get enough sleep, all the important processes we've discussed can't happen properly. Memories don't get consolidated as effectively, so learning becomes harder. The glymphatic system doesn't have enough time to clean your brain thoroughly, allowing waste products to accumulate. Your body doesn't complete all its repair work, leaving tissues less than optimally maintained. The effects accumulate over time, like missing regular maintenance on a car. At first, it might not seem like a problem, but eventually, things start to break down. After just one night of poor sleep, you'll notice immediate effects. You feel tired and groggy. It's harder to pay attention and concentrate. You might read the same paragraph several times without absorbing the information. Your reaction time slows down, which is why drowsy driving is so dangerous. Studies show that driving after not sleeping for 24 hours is equivalent to driving with a level of impairment similar to being intoxicated. You might feel irritable or emotionally sensitive, snapping at people, or feeling tearful over small things. You might crave sugary or fatty foods because your body is trying to get quick energy to compensate for tiredness. These effects are annoying but temporary. One good night of sleep usually makes you feel much better. But chronic sleep deprivation, consistently getting less sleep than you need over weeks or months, has more serious effects. Your ability to form new memories becomes impaired. You can still experience things and take in information, but it doesn't stick as well. Learning becomes more difficult. Students who are chronically sleep deprived often struggle academically, not because they lack intelligence or motivation, but because their brains can't properly consolidate what they're learning. Your immune system doesn't work as well, making you more likely to get sick. If you're exposed to a cold virus, you're much more likely to actually develop a cold if you're sleep deprived than if you're well rested. Your body doesn't regulate blood sugar as effectively when you're sleep deprived, increasing your risk of developing type 2 diabetes. Sleep deprivation affects how your body responds to insulin, making your cells less able to take up glucose from your bloodstream. Over time, this can lead to metabolic problems. Your cardiovascular system is affected too. Chronic sleep deprivation raises your blood pressure and increases your risk of heart disease. Your body produces more stress hormones when you're sleep deprived, which contributes to these cardiovascular problems. Sleep deprivation also affects your mental health. People who consistently don't get enough sleep are at higher risk for depression and anxiety. Sleep problems can make existing mental health conditions worse. There's a complex relationship between sleep and mental health, with each affecting the other in a continuous cycle. Poor sleep can contribute to depression, and depression can cause sleep problems. This creates a difficult loop that can be hard to break without addressing both the sleep and the mental health issues. The accumulation of waste products in the brain due to inadequate lymphatic cleaning might contribute to cognitive decline and risk of developing certain conditions over decades. Scientists are still researching these long-term effects, but the evidence suggests that chronically poor sleep during middle age might increase risks years or decades later. It's as if years of inadequate brain cleaning allow harmful proteins to slowly accumulate until they reach levels that cause problems. Interestingly, you can't really catch up on lost sleep. If you miss several hours of sleep during the week, sleeping longer on the weekend helps, but it doesn't completely reverse all the effects of sleep deprivation. Your body tries to compensate by spending more time in deep sleep and REM sleep when you finally get a chance to sleep, prioritizing the most important stages. But it can't perfectly make up for what was lost. Some of the negative effects of sleep deprivation, particularly those related to metabolism and cardiovascular health, persist even after a recovery night of sleep. The best approach is to consistently get adequate sleep night after night, making sleep a priority rather than something you only catch up on when you have time. As you lie here now, perhaps feeling your eyelids growing heavy, perhaps already on the edge of sleep, your body is preparing for its nightly journey. Soon you'll slip into stage 1, that peaceful transition where wakefulness dissolves like sugar in warm water. Your brain waves will slow from the rapid beta waves of alertness to the gentle theta waves of early sleep. Your muscles will relax, releasing the subtle tensions you've been holding. The concerns of the day will begin to fade into the background, becoming less urgent, less immediate. Your breathing will deepen and become more regular. Your heart will slow its pace. Your body temperature will drop by just a fraction of a degree. All of these changes happening automatically, orchestrated by your brain without any conscious effort from you. Then you'll move into stage 2, settling more deeply into rest. Your brain creating those protective spindles of activity, those K complexes that monitor your environment. Your body temperature will continue dropping. Your heart rate will become even slower and more steady. Everything will become quieter and calmer. The world outside will seem more distant. Sounds that might have caught your attention while awake will be filtered and dismissed as unimportant. After that, if this is early in your night, you'll descend into the deep restoration of stage 3, where your brain produces those beautiful, slow delta waves, long, rolling rhythms that sweep across your consciousness. This is where your body repairs and renews itself, where growth hormone flows through your system, where your immune system does its important work, where tissues mend and cells regenerate. Later, you'll emerge into REM sleep, and your brain will light up with activity. The electrical patterns will look almost like waking consciousness, fast and irregular and busy. Your eyes will move beneath your closed lids, scanning back and forth as if watching scenes unfold. Your mind will create vivid dreams, perhaps processing the day's experiences, perhaps weaving together random elements into strange narratives. Your breathing and heart rate will become more variable. And yet, your muscles will remain still, safely immobilized, so your dreams remain in your mind and don't spill into physical movement. And then, the cycle will begin again, rising and falling like breath, like waves on a shore, like the tides responding to the moon, carrying you through the night in a pattern as old as human existence. While all of this happens, your glymphatic system will quietly wash through your brain, carrying away the waste of the day. Cerebrospinal fluid will flow through widened spaces between your neurons, cleaning, refreshing, maintaining. The toxic proteins will be swept away. The metabolic byproducts will be removed. Your brain will become cleaner with each passing hour of sleep. Your memories will be sorted and stored, the important ones strengthened and transferred to long-term storage, the connections between related memories enhanced. The unnecessary details will be allowed to fade. Your body will regulate hormones, bringing some up and others down according to its needs. Tissues will be repaired. Cells will divide and grow. Your immune system will produce antibodies and work to keep you healthy. All of this happens without any effort from you. You simply close your eyes and allow it to happen. Your body knows what to do. It has been doing this every night of your life, every night of every ancestor's life, stretching back millions of years to the earliest mammals and beyond. Sleep is one of the oldest and most fundamental processes in biology, perfected over countless generations. Even the simplest animals sleep, or have rest periods that serve similar functions. The fruit fly sleeps. Even some bacteria have daily activity cycles. Sleep has been so essential to survival that evolution has preserved it, refined it, made it better and more efficient over time. Sleep isn't just about what happens during those hours of unconsciousness. It's about what it gives you when you wake. Good sleep gives you the ability to think clearly, to remember things, to learn new skills. When you're well rested, you can focus your attention, you can solve problems, you can be creative. It gives you emotional stability and resilience. You're better able to handle stress and challenges when you've slept well. Small annoyances don't bother you as much. You have more patience. It gives you physical health and energy. Your body feels strong. You can move without fatigue. You have the stamina to do what you need to do. It gives you creativity and insight, the ability to see solutions that weren't obvious before, to make connections between ideas that seemed unrelated. In a very real way, the quality of your sleep determines the quality of your waking life. Every system in your body benefits from good sleep. Your heart beats steadily through thousands of cycles while you rest, getting a break from the demands of active living. Your lungs breathe slowly and deeply, not having to adjust to speech or exercise or excitement. Your digestive system works on processing your evening meal without having to deal with new food constantly coming in. Your muscles relax and repair, knitting together any tiny tears from the day's activities, building themselves stronger. Your bones strengthen, laying down new mineral deposits. Your skin renews itself, shedding old cells and creating new ones. Every organ, every tissue, every cell takes advantage of sleep to do its maintenance work. Your brain, that remarkable 3-pound universe inside your skull, uses sleep to organize itself, to make sense of the day, to prepare for tomorrow. It's during sleep that loose connections become strong, that vague impressions become clear memories, that problems suddenly have solutions. Sleep is when your brain becomes itself again, refreshed and ready. The neurons that fired repeatedly during the day, becoming exhausted and depleted, restore their energy supplies during sleep. The support cells of the brain, the glial cells, clean and maintain the neurons. The processes that protect your brain from harmful substances get a chance to do extra thorough work during sleep. And yet, despite how essential sleep is, our modern world often treats it as optional or wasteful. We brag about how little sleep we can function on, as if sleeping less makes us stronger or more productive. We fill our evenings with screens and bright lights, confusing our brains about whether it's day or night. We drink caffeine late into the day, blocking the natural signals that should tell us we're tired. We treat sleep as something to minimize, rather than something to protect and prioritize. This is backwards. Sleep isn't laziness or weakness. Sleep is strength. Sleep is health. Sleep is one of the most productive things you can do with your time. If you struggle with sleep, you're not alone. Millions of people do. But understanding what sleep is and why it matters can help you make choices that support better rest. Going to bed and waking up at consistent times helps train your circadian rhythm. Your body thrives on predictability. When you go to bed at the same time every night and wake up at the same time every morning, even on weekends, your internal clock knows what to expect. Getting bright light in the morning and avoiding bright light at night helps your body know when it should be awake and when it should prepare for sleep. Open your curtains first thing in the morning. Go outside if you can. The natural daylight, even on cloudy days, is much brighter than indoor lighting and provides a strong wake-up signal to your brain. Creating a peaceful bedtime routine signals to your body that sleep is approaching. This could be taking a warm bath, reading a book, listening to quiet music, whatever helps you relax. The key is consistency. When you do the same relaxing activities every night before bed, your body learns to associate these activities with sleep. Your bedroom environment matters too. Cool temperatures help sleep because your body temperature naturally drops during sleep. Most people sleep best in a room that's between 60 and 67 degrees. This might feel cool when you're awake and moving around, but it's ideal for sleep. Darkness is important because even small amounts of light can interfere with melatonin production. Use blackout curtains or an eye mask if needed. Quiet helps, though some people sleep better with gentle background sounds like white noise or soft music that masks disruptive noises. What you do during the day affects your sleep at night. Regular physical activity helps you sleep better, making you more tired at night and helping to strengthen your circadian rhythm. But try to finish exercising at least a few hours before bedtime, as exercise too close to sleep can be stimulating. Managing stress and worry helps calm your mind for sleep. If you lie in bed with your mind racing, try keeping a notebook by your bed and writing down your thoughts and concerns. Sometimes, just getting them out of your head and onto paper can help. Being mindful of caffeine matters more than most people realize. Caffeine has a half-life of about 5 to 6 hours, which means that half of the caffeine from a cup of coffee you drink at 3 in the afternoon is still in your system at 9 at night. Even if you don't feel jittery, the caffeine can interfere with sleep quality. Even your exposure to natural light during the day helps set your circadian rhythm properly, making it easier to sleep at night. But perhaps most important is simply recognizing that sleep is worth protecting. It's worth saying no to late-night commitments when you're tired. It's worth turning off screens an hour before bed, even though that's when your favorite shows are on. It's worth creating time and space for adequate rest, even when there are many other things competing for your attention. Your body will thank you. Your mind will thank you. The next day version of you will definitely thank you. Every hour you spend sleeping is an investment in your health, your clarity, your mood, your creativity, your resilience. It's time well spent. There's something almost poetic about sleep when you really think about it. Every night, you willingly let go of consciousness. You surrender control. You trust your body to keep breathing, your heart to keep beating, your brain to keep working, while you're not aware of any of it. You lie down, close your eyes, and travel to a place you can't fully describe when you wake. Sleep is one of the great mysteries of human experience, something we all do but struggle to explain. During those hours, you're simultaneously completely vulnerable and incredibly powerful. Your body is at rest, defenseless in a way you never are while awake. And yet, it's also doing some of the most important work it will do all day. Your conscious mind is absent, your awareness dissolved, and yet your unconscious mind is brilliantly active, solving problems, making connections, creating meaning from the chaos of daily experience. You're alone in your experience, trapped in your own head, with no way to communicate. And yet, you're engaged in something universal, something every human being throughout history has shared. Every person who has ever lived has experienced this same nightly journey. And then, when morning comes, you return. You open your eyes. Consciousness flows back like water filling a vessel. The world reappears, solid and real. You remember who you are, where you are, what day it is. The concerns that seem to dissolve into nothing during sleep come back, though often they seem less pressing than they did the night before. You're renewed, restored, ready to begin again. It happens so smoothly, so naturally, that we barely notice the miracle of it. But it is a miracle, this daily renewal, this nightly journey and return. Sleep is a kind of small wonder that happens every single day. It costs nothing. It requires no special equipment or training. It's freely available to everyone, rich or poor, young or old. And yet, it gives us everything we need to live our lives fully. It heals us. It teaches us. It prepares us. It sustains us. Without sleep, we couldn't survive. Our brains would deteriorate. Our bodies would fail. With good sleep, we can thrive for decades, our brains sharp and our bodies strong. Tonight, as you prepare for sleep, or perhaps as you've already begun to fade, remember what a remarkable thing is about to happen. Your brain will cycle through its stages like a symphony moving through its movements. First, the gentle opening theme of stage 1. Then, the more complex patterns of stage 2, with its spindles and complexes. Then, the deep, slow movement of stage 3, with its delta wave rhythm. And finally, the dramatic finale of REM sleep, with its dreams and rapid eye movements. And then it will repeat, again and again, each cycle slightly different from the last, the entire night a carefully composed piece. Your glymphatic system will wash away the metabolic debris of the day, carrying cerebrospinal fluid through your brain tissue, removing the proteins and byproducts that accumulated during waking hours. Your brain will become cleaner, healthier, better able to function tomorrow. Your memories will be sorted and stored, important experiences strengthened and filed away, unimportant details allowed to fade. Your body will repair and renew itself, your muscles rebuilding, your tissues healing, your cells dividing and growing. Your immune system will strengthen, your hormones will be regulated, brought into balance for tomorrow's needs. Your emotions will be processed and regulated, helping you face tomorrow with more stability and resilience. All of this will happen automatically, naturally, perfectly, if you simply allow yourself to rest. You don't need to try to sleep. Trying often makes sleep harder, creating anxiety and tension that interferes with the natural process. Instead, simply be willing to sleep. Create the conditions for sleep, and then trust your body to do what it knows how to do. Trust the ancient wisdom encoded in your genes, the pattern perfected over millions of years. Your body wants to sleep. It's designed to sleep. You just need to get out of its way and let it happen. As your eyes grow heavier, as your breathing slows and deepens, as your thoughts begin to wander and dissolve, know that you're not wasting time. You're not being lazy. You're engaging in one of the most important and beneficial activities a human being can do. You're giving your body and brain the gift of restoration. You're investing in tomorrow's clarity, energy, and health. You're taking care of yourself in the most fundamental way possible. Every hour you spend sleeping makes you healthier, smarter, more resilient, more capable of handling whatever challenges tomorrow brings. The world will still be here when you wake. Whatever worries or tasks you have can wait until morning. Your inbox will still be there. Your responsibilities will still be there. But they'll be easier to handle after you've slept. Right now, in this moment, the only thing you need to do is rest. Let your muscles soften and sink into the surface beneath you. Let your jaw relax, your teeth slightly apart. Let your shoulders drop away from your ears. Feel the weight of your body, heavy and comfortable. Feel gravity pulling you gently down. Your body knows how to sleep. It's been doing this since before you were born. Your developing brain cycled through sleep stages in the womb, practicing for the lifetime of nights to come. As a baby, you spent most of your time sleeping, growing, developing. Your brain forming the connections that would become your thoughts and memories and personality. As a child, sleep powered your learning and growth, helping you double and triple in size, helping you learn to walk and talk and think. And now, as an adult, sleep continues to be your faithful companion, available every night, ready to restore you, heal you, prepare you for whatever comes next. There's nothing you need to figure out right now, nothing you need to solve or understand. The questions can wait, the problems can wait, the plans can wait. All of that can wait for tomorrow, when you're rested and clear-headed. Right now, you can simply be. Simply rest. Simply allow the natural process of sleep to unfold, like a flower opening in the night, like the tide coming in, like any of the countless natural rhythms that govern our world. Your brain is already beginning its work. The stage 1 waves are appearing, the theta rhythms starting their gentle roll. Your body temperature is dropping, degree by degree. Melatonin is flowing through your bloodstream, binding to receptors in your brain, telling your cells that darkness has come and rest is appropriate. Your muscles are releasing their tension, fiber by fiber. Your breathing is slowing, becoming deeper and more regular. Your heart is settling into its slower nighttime rhythm. Everything is happening exactly as it should, exactly as it has happened every night of your life. Soon, you'll cross that threshold from wakefulness into sleep. You might not even notice the moment it happens. One moment you're here, aware, listening to these words. The next moment, you're somewhere else, somewhere peaceful and restorative. And that's perfectly fine. That's exactly what should happen. There's no wrong way to fall asleep. However it happens for you is the right way. Thank you for spending this time learning about sleep. Thank you for being here, for listening, for caring enough about your health and well-being to understand this fundamental part of being human. Whether you're still awake or already sleeping, whether you remember this ending or forget it by morning, I hope you rest well tonight. I hope your brain cycles smoothly through all its stages. I hope your glymphatic system cleans efficiently. I hope your memories consolidate properly. I hope you wake refreshed and renewed, ready to meet the day with energy and clarity. You have done enough for today. You've thought enough, worked enough, worried enough, tried enough. Whatever you accomplished today was enough. Whatever you didn't finish can wait for tomorrow. You don't need to be more or do more right now. Now it's time to simply be. Close your eyes if they're not already closed. Take a slow, deep breath, filling your lungs completely. Hold it for just a moment. Then let it out even more slowly, emptying your lungs fully. Feel yourself sinking deeper into rest with each exhale, letting go a little more with each breath out. The night is here to hold you. Sleep is here to restore you. Your body knows exactly what to do. Trust it. Trust the process. Trust the ancient wisdom of sleep that has served living things for hundreds of millions of years. You are safe. You are cared for. You are exactly where you need to be. There is nowhere else to go, nothing else to do. This moment, right now, is perfect exactly as it is. Rest now. Let go. Allow sleep to carry you through the night on its gentle waves. When morning comes, you'll wake renewed, but that's hours away. Right now, there's only this moment, this breath, this peaceful descent into rest. Your brain will do its cycles, your body will do its work, your glymphatic system will do its cleaning, and you can simply rest. Good night. Sleep well, dream sweetly. May your delta waves roll deep and slow. May your REM sleep be filled with fascinating dreams. May your memories consolidate perfectly. May your glymphatic system clean thoroughly. May your body repair completely. And tomorrow, when you wake, may you find yourself refreshed, restored, and ready to meet the new day with clarity and energy, grateful for the gift of sleep that made it all possible. May you stretch and yawn and smile, feeling the difference that good sleep makes. May you remember that sleep is not time wasted, but time invested in yourself. May you carry this understanding forward, protecting your sleep, honoring your need for rest, recognizing it as the foundation of health and well-being that it truly is. Sleep now. The world can wait. You've earned this rest. Close your eyes and let the journey begin.